In the bustling city of Lagos, Adele and her husband, Kofi, had once been the picture of a perfect couple. Their love was strong and their dreams were shared. But as the years went by, things began to change. Adele, a successful businesswoman, found herself working long hours, managing her career, and doing everything in her power to ensure the family was taken care of. Kofi, on the other hand, struggled with the weight of his own insecurities. As Adele's career flourished, he felt like he was slipping into the background of their life. Each evening after Adele came home from work, she would collapse into a chair, too tired to even speak. The long hours, the constant pressure to succeed, it was wearing her down. But there was one thing she could never escape, the nagging feeling that Kofi was disappointed in her. It wasn't that she didn't love him, she did. But the constant demands of her job meant there was little time for anything else. Kofi, on the other hand, felt lonely and unimportant. The once vibrant woman he married was now distant, her mind always preoccupied with work. He missed the days when they would laugh together, when she would cook his favorite meal after a long day. Now those moments seemed like a distant memory. One evening, after Adele had returned home late from an important business meeting, Kofi decided it was time to confront her. As she walked through the door, he didn't wait for her to greet him. He stood up and said, his voice tinged with frustration, "Adele, we need to talk." Adele looked up, exhaustion written all over her face. "Not now, Kofi. I'm so tired," she replied, brushing past him and heading for the couch. "No, this can't wait any longer," Kofi said, following her. "I've been feeling like I don't matter to you anymore. You're always too busy for me. You don't even cook anymore. There's no intimacy between us. It's like I'm invisible." Adele's face hardened as she sat down. "You don't understand, Kofi. I'm working so hard to provide for this family. Can't you see that? I don't have the energy for everything. I don't have the energy for you." Kofi's heart sank at her words. He had tried to be patient, tried to understand, but it hurt too much to hear her say it out loud. "So this is it. You're going to just keep pushing me aside while you chase after your career. I'm doing this for us." Adele shot back, her voice rising with frustration. "You think I enjoy coming home like this every night? But I have to keep going. I have no choice." Kofi's eyes softened, but his voice was still thick with hurt. "I never asked you to choose between me and your work, Adele. But I can't keep pretending like everything is fine when you're so distant. I miss you." Adele paused, the exhaustion in her eyes turning into something more complex. Guilt, perhaps, or a recognition that her husband's pain was real. But she didn't know how to fix it. She didn't know how to balance everything. "I don't know what you want me to do, Kofi," she said quietly. "I'm doing my best." But Kofi wasn't satisfied with that answer. "Your best isn't enough for me anymore. I need you, Adele. Not your work. Not your money. Just you." Adele's heart ached, but she couldn't find the words to express it. Instead, she stood up, brushing past him again. "I'm going to bed," she said softly, her voice tinged with defeat. Kofi watched her retreat into the bedroom, his chest heavy with unspoken words. He felt a sharp pang of regret. Had they always been this way? Was this the life they had built together? The life where work and obligations overshadowed the love they had once shared? As he lay in bed that night, Kofi wondered how they had drifted so far apart. He missed the days when everything was simpler, when Adele's smile was enough to brighten his entire day. Now he wasn't sure if that smile even existed anymore. The next morning, Adele made a decision. She had been thinking about it for a while and decided that something needed to change. She would hire a maid to help around the house. Maybe that would take some of the burden off her, and Kofi wouldn't have to feel so neglected. Kofi, however, was caught off guard when Adele mentioned it over breakfast. "I've hired a maid to help us out," she said, casually stirring her coffee. "A maid?" Kofi asked, raising an eyebrow. "Without asking me." Adele frowned. "I didn't think it was necessary to ask you. I'm the one working all day, Kofi. I need help." Kofi couldn't shake the feeling that things were getting worse, not better. But he didn't say anything. He simply nodded and turned away, wondering how much more he could take. And so, the tension between them continued to grow, unnoticed by Adele, who was caught in her own battle to balance work, family, and everything in between. Kofi, meanwhile, was left questioning whether their marriage was even salvageable. But one thing was clear. Their relationship had reached a breaking point.